Hi, this is Carl, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. Today I want to talk about supporting home offices in 2020. So what makes 2020 different? Well, we've come a long way, as they say. It used to be that I recommended that people get away from supporting home offices for a number of reasons. First of all, you had a lot of really bad hardware and some pretty bad software. So the result was that very often, it used to be, that a home office environment was not well set up, didn't have good monitors, a lot of times didn't have external monitors at all, only had an old laptop that had been handed down from work. May not have even had really good software installed. On top of that, you have kids using the same computer, and so they're installing their crappy software, which is very poorly written, and it messes with all kinds of other stuff. Can't be updated too far, and so you've just got a bad environment. Second, for the most part, we were not patching, fixing, and updating those machines. So they were a security hole. Even if you came in through a VPN, you have an insecure port, you virus up your machine, and then you connect it to work. It's a bad situation. So we decided many years ago to get out of the home market. And we did it slowly by just raising our prices to the point where it became absurd for people to have us work on their home networks. Skip ahead a bit. Now we can put our agent on everything. Now, after a couple of generations of hardware updates and so forth, a lot of people have really great home machines, really great laptops that work really well at home. They've got a nice secure connection, whether it's an RDP or VPN, whatever. There are many ways to have secure connections to the office, and we're seeing a lot of that. Plus, third, everybody's moved to the cloud. So if people are secure on a machine at home, they don't really need to connect to the office for most things anymore. They connect to their secure cloud storage. They connect to their secure Office 365, to their secure documents, to their secure email. So we've come a long ways. And now, let's talk about 2020. One of the most important things that's happened in the last 5 years is that there's been a huge growth in other technologies that we have not traditionally supported. For example, many people, if you read CEPro Magazine, which if you don't, you should, just go get a free subscription, CEPro. It's Consumer Electronics Pro, and this is for people who are installing game systems with high-end sound systems in clients' homes. They're installing lighting, LED, and other kinds of stuff. They're hooking things up to Alexa and Siri. They're making that entire smart home happen, and it all requires networking. It all requires security. If you just let somebody take something out of the box and turn it on, what you're going to find is massive problems with security. The default passwords for all this stuff are out there on the internet. It's no surprise to the bad guys at all. And so they're not securing it on a separate network. They're not isolating that network even with a simple repeater that would hand out a different set of IP addresses. They're doing absolutely nothing to secure that environment. They need you, right? And what we've seen in March of 2020 is a whole bunch of people suddenly saying, oh my gosh, we got to figure out how to work from home. And IT professionals like you have gone out there and helped their clients get set up at home. Now I want you to look a little more broadly and say, okay, how much more can we do for these home offices? Because we've finally gotten to the point where they can be on a recurring revenue program. They can need regular support. They need somebody to call when stuff happens. When you take an office where you used to have 25 people in one room or one office, and now you've sent 20 or 23 of them out to their homes, it's a whole different environment. The good news is, in that new environment, somebody still has to be in charge of the backup. Somebody has to make sure that all those machines are secure, they're patched and fixed and updated, and that you haven't created 23 sieves where data just flows out of your computers, out of your company, and your clients no longer have a secure environment, right? You have to do that. That's a service. It's worth charging for. It's worth having a monthly fee. And it's actually probably a little more difficult than supporting everybody in one office. So when you think about that, you have to have written policies that human beings follow, but you also have to have software and systems in place to verify all the data got put where it's supposed to, and it got backed up, and you can restore it. You got to test this stuff. You got to make sure that you're monitoring all those machines. It's a brave new world, and you're the person your clients need to rely on to make this happen. I hope that you are taking this opportunity to pivot just enough to broaden your market and be ready to support those home offices and a whole lot more in the 10 years ahead of you. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palchuk wishing you the best of luck in your managed service business.
Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified when we post a new video.